Okay, you can see my screen. We've got you here. There you are. Okay. And you said you'd climbed a fair bit since our last session. Is that correct? This is over in
Yeah.
Diamond now, I think? Okay, cool.
About 3K.
Perfect, perfect. Before we get started here, was there anything other than, hey, kind of hit a going 500 now that was like, hey, this is giving me trouble, this is giving me problems, or I'm really curious about this on this map? Anything like that you want to cover, or shall we just get into it?
Um, I feel like, I mean, for Genji specifically, I guess the main thing is like I'm like really hit or miss with my nanoblades. Like sometimes
Sure.
I'm really, like comfortable like with my combos. Like even if I'm getting random autos, like I seem to be doing okay. But other times, like this game, that's not the case. So I want to get
Okay.
my consistency up. So
Okay.
I think that's the main thing for
So we
me.
want to think about nav blades. That's definitely a thing that we can do. Some of that has to do with location. Some of that has to do with mentally screenshotting, sort of where everyone is.
Mm.
But let's see what we can do. We'll talk it through when we've got a nano blade we can use
Mm-hmm.
to explain it a bit better.
1. Attackers incoming. Defend objective A.
Can live with that. Kind of put ourselves in a situation to force our own dash, and now we don't have it. Yeah. So we see what happened here, where we'll go back here. This is fine. We're now in this situation where I get what you're doing. You're going, hey, I want to be like this. I don't want to have to, what am I trying to say? I don't want to just walk across this space because I can get pushed for that. But we
Mm-hmm.
did force ourselves into this situation from the get-go where we had to use our own dash to back out. And now while we don't have our dash, this fight is happening, and in fact, we're going to lose someone, it looks like, while our dash is still on cooldown. So we do
Mm-hmm.
so we do want to be thinking like, yes, sometimes you're going to use your dash to get out, and that's totally fine. But most of the times when you're using your dash to get out, you got a little more upside in the first place. Like the initial investment is more than, hey, I got 10% ult charge, right? Like if you're
Yeah.
thinking on this, we want to be in a situation where, okay, dashing back to our team, dashing back towards here with cover, that's good, that's fine. I want to do that, but did we really need to be in such a situation where we're back here?
1. Attackers incoming.
Fine.
Defend objective A.
I mean, this is a thing, but if we'd gone this way, would we have needed our dash? Like, there was ways to do this in such a way where we didn't even have to spend our dash to get the same thing. Where it's a,
Yeah.
hey, we could have backed off a little faster. We could have done a little more. We could have, yeah, you get it.
I think another thing that kind of caught me off guard was my team being high ground instead of like behind me on point.
Sure, if your team's behind you on point, you're gonna have more time to get that dash back. Absolutely.
Yeah, yeah. So I kind of screwed up in that part.
Okay, and I don't super love this either. Now you're back with your team, and I'm sort of in a, well, why are you with your team? Like, do you want to be with your team,
Mhm.
or do you want to be over here? And I think the answer is you want to be over here, right?
Mhm. Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. Mhm.
I thought it was one of them.
Okay.
I don't
I
even get the
mean,
touch.
yeah, I can tell you're not going to get the touch. It's sort of like if you wanted this fight, it was sort of back here. I guess I'm going to go challenge the Hanzo when things started to go wrong. Whereas now you did this, you backed off, and I don't mind backing off and trying to get the retake. So that's fine, backing off and going, I'm going to try to get teammates back, and then we're going to do the retake. That's fine. It's just, no, it's fine. We're going to do this.
stagger myself.
Little bit. It's only about a second. I'm gonna be okay because you're gonna have teammates go down after you did, and that was always gonna be the case. That should have always been the case. If they're not gonna take the staggers, I guess that's not true.
I guess not. Well, Ron goes on super late now.
Yeah. Yeah, so talk to me about that dash decision.
Well, I saw that he used hook, so I mean, I don't know. I'm just trying to burst him down. Maybe I thought I had more teammates with me here. I do think I was calling just to like get this hog he's feeding because I thought he was a little bit out of position.
Sure, sure. This hog probably is a little bit out of position, but this dash was nowhere even close to eliminating him. Like,
Yeah,
nowhere even
true.
close to eliminating him. And, you know, you might be going, oh, it's fine. He's already used his hook. I'm safe from him even without my dash. My teammates are right here. Yeah, okay, but I don't know that Hanzo isn't going to show up right here, that McCree isn't going to show up right here. And then you're kind of in trouble, right? Like, your team doesn't have control of this space. You have no way of knowing that there's not going to be a Hanzo or a McCree here, here, that you now have no way to get away from, or just, you know, gives you trouble. You have no deflect, you have no dash, you used it in a way that you're in, and you're in a fight that I have no belief that in the next half second or so you're going to get an elimination on this hog. And even if you had more teammates here, I don't think you'd have that belief, right?
Yeah,
Yeah.
definitely not.
Oh, what do you know?
Yeah.
Oh boy.
See, like, yeah, that I was not ready for that at all.
No, of course you weren't. And this isn't when you'd want to be nanoblading anyways. Your team isn't properly engaged with this. That's unfortunate. Okay. But you should be mentally imprinting. Like, you should be actually looking around as you're pulling out your blade here to figure out where everyone is. Because what you need to go is you need to go here and see, okay, I have mentally imprinted where these 4 targets are, and now I'm going to dash at this Hanzo and swing, and I'm immediately going to pivot to where the McCree was when I dashed and swung at my Hanzo, or if my Hanzo jumps back and I follow him to where he was, so that I'm immediately ready to dash again. Like, it needs to be a very fast turn so you can find your target. If you don't know that this Anna's here, so be it. If you do know that Anna's there, you can go for it. I don't really care. But my point is more, hey, you go here, and then you immediately know, maybe not on this one because there's a structure, so we'll use our Hanzo example. You go here, and you immediately know where it was so that you can dash quickly. So you need to, as you're pulling at your blade, mentally imprint where everything is. You are sort of doing that. This is time. Like, if we are serious here about how this works.
You're powered up. Get in there.
It was a little slow for your initial dash there, I believe, and you didn't really properly get to the Anna. Like, that's not where she was. She was over here. You really dashed past her. That's just an accuracy issue. And now you just, yeah. Okay, so is it a getting between the targets issue, or is it like a aiming at the target from above because it's an angle that you only get to practice when you're blading?
Well, it's weird because like sometimes I feel like my combos are super crisp. Like I feel like in that scenario, like when I'm like actually feeling it, I would have just slash dashed her rather than dashed and then tried to go for a slash. I don't know if that's the play, but that's I feel like I was just caught off guard by this nano in the first place, and I kind of just panicked.
Oh no, I mean, I tell you, what you would do is you just put your crosshair over her, and you would
Yeah.
dash through here and immediately 180 slash. Like, that would be,
Okay.
you don't want to fall and run at her because it makes it too easy for her to hit that sleep dart on you if you just sort of walk at her or fall at her. That's what you're describing, and it's just too easy for her to hit a flash, or if it's McCree, them to hit a flash, or if it's Hanzo, for Hanzo to go, where are you going? Where are you going? Okay, let me, like, you do want to hit the dash, and in this case, it would be I dash through you, I immediately 180, I slash, I immediately dash over to here at my slash, I go here, oh, that's an issue, so now maybe I have to sidestep for a second and then try to go for my dash. Like, this would be you try to put your crosshair over her, and you dash through here type thing, and it doesn't have to be perfectly over her, it can be to the left of her from your perspective, but it still needs to, do dash damage effectively. Whereas you sort of brought it over a bit, but went above her, and you did get your damage, but you went so far above her that she's pretty far away from you now. Okay. Gutsy of you to not be interested in that health pack, but hey. Get back your fresh blade. I don't mind the tank pressure. But Anna's definitely the right shot here, even if she's harder to hit. Like, are you behind your Anna on ult charge right now?
Nah.
Right,
No,
so
I'm
let's
not.
put the real pressure on Anna because that's actually more painful to their team because, you know, it's harder for Anna to heal herself than it is for her to heal the tanks. Yes, her Lucio's going to heal her here, but still. So let's put that pressure, unless we're like, oh shoot, my Anna's at 90% and I'm only at 70% on ults. Let's go for the Anna pressure here rather than the tanks,
Yeah.
if they're equally accessible. Or the McCree. I mean, you had a window there definitely to finish off the McCree. So if we just go here, you know, that
I thought
McCree... Go ahead.
I thought he was gonna do some like thing where he's like walking backwards and like he rolls backwards and flashes me. Like I legitimately thought he's gonna be like a Reinhardt. You know what I'm talking about?
Yep, yep.
Yeah.
The 180
So
shatters, the baits.
yeah, yeah. So I was a little scared. I was like, all right, I'm gonna just back out here. I think I did my damage.
Okay, okay.
So I mean, it was finishable. That was my
Sure,
thinking.
sure. Because, I mean, this is the sort of thing where you can pop off. Like, we look at this, and your team's probably going to win the fight based on what's happening on the front line, but you get a shuriken in here, and this really becomes a, okay, I shuriken, dash, dash, melee shuriken, whatever, it's over. Like, this was a,
Yeah.
you had this fight, but
So
that's
in
okay.
this situation, you would be cool with me dashing into these two.
Not until you throw another shuriken and do damage. You see what I'm
Okay.
saying? Like, it is a
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
thing where the dash is going to be the elimination on the first one. You do not want to dash at the McCree while the Hanzo's... They've both got 90 health right now, so if you hit, you know, 2 shurikens on one of them, hit a shuriken and dash melee, whatever. Like, I don't want you to get yourself eliminated here, but if you go, I'm going to dash to eliminate the McCree, like, and the dash is actually going to eliminate the McCree, and then I'm immediately going to dash into the Hanzo, and the Hanzo's going to have 30, 40 health left, that's fine, yes.
Okay. Cool.
But the dash into the Hanzo is fine because he's the last one there. I wouldn't then say, oh, dash into the Hanzo. I'd say use the dash to get back out if he wasn't the last one there.
Okay.
Okay. This is dicey. You're very close to him, and he has beats. He has beats. You're being annoying. Excellent. Well done.
Heroes never die.
It's over. Why? So here you are. You dashed over here. I'm sure you dashed over here because you were worried about them coming and peeking here. But this is the sort of thing where I go, let's take a look just back here. Let's just go to when he pulled because you know how long this lasts. Okay, that's up. He had that up for like 2 seconds before he looked at you. Maybe a second before he looked at you. Then there's 2 more seconds of deflect. Do you know how long High Noon lasts?
Like 6 seconds.
Right. So he's got a maximum of 3 seconds left here, probably closer to 2.
Mm-hmm.
He canceled that about a second early, it looks like. And you keep sitting here and keep sitting here. We can just go right back here and pressure these guys from behind again, right? Wouldn't that be fun? Like, we can just go,
Yeah.
hey, I'm going to hop up here, and I'm going to be super annoying from back here, and this nice deep angle, and I'm not worried about them. Instead, you're here, and then I think you hear them and like, oh, shoot, they're closer than I thought, so you dash here. But now you're kind of stuck. Like, you're in this situation where this like, yes, this is an off angle from your team, but you're stuck. You don't have your dash because of how that
Yeah.
just got forced. You're in a place where they can pincer you pretty hard. You walked yourself into this situation, and you would have been safer. You don't want to play in the middle of the enemy team. You want to play on the outside of the enemy team. So like here, like back here. This was totally fine. You weren't in the middle of the enemy team. Now you're in the middle of the enemy team as opposed to on the outside.
I require healing.
Choosing to stay on carts, fine.
We still need you.
Okay. Okay, so you should be imprinting where everything is, and with your imprinting where everything is, what's your plan right now? Like, you tell me what your plan is right now.
Well, I see the McCree as the most accessible target, I
'Kay.
think.
'Kay.
So I go for him first.
Yep.
I'm not sure if I saw the Lucio in real time.
Sure.
But yeah, I'm definitely starting out with a McCree.
Okay. So there should be that, and you should immediately either pivot to the Lucio that you now at least know exists, or you should try to turn to trace this line back that is the Ana shot, right? Like, those are
Yeah.
the two things that you should be thinking about, and we should instantly get a pivot in one of those directions. Unfortunate.
I was
Yep.
not expecting him to die from that.
Yep, unfortunate, and that's going to make this much harder. Oh, this was not the play. Oh boy. You didn't necessarily know, but the play was to, unfortunately, be Ninja
Yeah.
Cyborg running around over here and get this. Okay.
Yeah, and like that's another like case of me like just screwing up my combos when I don't know. Like usually I'm fine with that, but
It is, but I think we also saw an imprinting locations issue there too, where it sounds like it looks like you didn't really know where the targets besides the McCree were.
yeah.
And
well,
you definitely could have looked around more during that. Go ahead.
If I didn't waste my dash, I would have looked for another target over Ryan, but again, I panicked after that.
Oh, sure. But I'm saying even during the pulling out your blade section, you didn't really find enough valid targets, right? Like, you know there's an Ana on the board, where is she type thing.
Yeah.
Back into the mix.
Okay, we've got ourselves some McCree. Okay. Let's get back here and think this through. So here we are. You're applying some pressure. You're in the same angle as your soldier, which isn't amazing. You've gone for that for the reload. Wants to get a little more aggressive. Unfortunately, you've lost your hog here. And what was your hog actually up to? Okay, what was your hog actually up to? This. So he had just barely started to push, and you'd pushed at exactly the same time with your roll that he'd started to push. So your timing was actually good. And there's just not much we can do with that, and no, we're not going to get so aggressive that we go take the next corner here. Okay. We could comment a little bit on, hey, we're choosing to dink one at a time with the Rhine Shield rather than Bandits. You definitely should have been able to hit that flash, but we got it. So here then we're going to go into target selection again. Again, those are single shots that could have been a fan. That's just a flash that you have to hit. You made that closer than you needed it to be, but you do get him. You're hitting your reload. You know there's a Doomfist there. You still know there's a Doomfist there. You know there's an Ana there. There's a Doomfist and an Ana. You're trying to shoot at the Doomfist. Fine. not the hugest fan of that reload. So if we go back here, the one before it. You're reloading in the open here, and we both know you're reloading in the open here. You weren't doing this reload while you were pole dancing with him. You're reloading effectively in the open, and you're doing it because you want to have a full ability to flash fan him, but you know he's Roadhog. You know that your flash fan isn't going to be enough, and you need more damage into him, right? So, like,
Yeah.
this is, nope, I'm just going to use my single shots, or maybe I'm going to flash double headshot him just to get rid of these bullets, and then I'm going to try to, by then I'll be close to having my rollback, so I'll hit my fan. Like, I know you don't have flash yet, but this is still you just got to spend these shots. Even if you spend them as a fan. A 3-shot fan is a little dicey, but you're going to hit all of your shots on him.
Yep.
Okay, so we've seen some Genji. We do see some what I would call both mechanical issues with your blade in terms of, hey, you just getting the you overshot on the Ana there, you hit the dash after you hit the slash and lost it on the McCree there, and that happens every once in a while and you can just write it off, but that's definitely something that we want to minimize, as well as some, knowing where your targets are, issues on those. But beyond the blades, we had a little bit of, hey, make sure you're putting yourself at off angles to your teammates and off angles outside of the fight. We saw that both on first, when you were just sort of chilling with your team after you escaped with the dash, when, hey, this fight is happening, this isn't really where you want to be. And we saw that again as you were pursuing into second there, and you were taking the off angle, that was good, but then you just sort of waited, got yourself stuck when it would have been very easy to play behind or at an angle from the opponents as opposed to walk out there. So that's what we're seeing so far with the Genji. With the McCree, we didn't really have enough yet, but we do have a little bit with some of our well, we saw a couple things. I'm not willing to turn any of those into a topic yet.
There you go.
Defend objective A.
So be it. You're gonna go take your angle. Huh. I'm surprised that you were here. Do you feel like you should be here?
I should probably take the right side instead.
Exactly. If your team is pushing in this way, which it was pretty clear that they were, you're perfectly happy to go, let me threaten from over here. This works for me.
Probably just AFK, by the way.
Yeah, farm him. You got it. You tried.
Maybe I will.
Right idea.
Think up on your actions.
You have deflect. We're going to be okay with this. You need to finish deflect with cover. Sort of.
Objective A captured. Escort the payload.
Do you think your team's far enough forward for you? Like, do you think your team is far enough forward for you to be this far forward?
No, definitely not.
Okay. Like
They're still pushing cart.
Yeah, going for staggers is good, but you didn't get enough eliminations recently enough, and your team position isn't forward enough for you to be up here. It's unfortunate. You're here, you don't have cooldowns. Yeah, and you don't have dash quite in time.
Yeah. So should I have just gone top left on the big gun thing rather than going right side as a whole?
I don't necessarily have an issue that you were up here on the way up. As you were working your way up, I don't mind that you were up here. If you'd worked your way up here, that would have been stronger, yes. But I didn't mind that for the sake of speed, you worked your
Okay.
way up here. I minded that after you sort of got done what you were going to get done, you kept pushing forward and took this when it was pretty clear to me. Like, you got a little glance. Let's take a look. Okay, so here you are.
I am ready.
I can see you just got a shot of where all of your friendlies are, right?
Yeah.
And you can see all of the opponents are alive. They're not all forwards yet from spawn, but they're all alive if you press tab. So, like, you're just taking this too deep. I was fine with you here, but you're now just
Escort
going
the
to...
payload.
You're going for more, and you haven't earned it yet. Like, you want to deepen your angles as the fight goes on, and this fight hasn't started yet, and you're trying to make a super, super deep angle by going in here.
Objective A captured.
Yeah.
Like, if we zoom out to a macro perspective, that's a really deep angle, and, you know, like, that's a really huge angle. Like, here's your Zarya, here's you.
Yeah.
That's...
So would something like that be okay on Tracer? Just going a deep angle and then working from there, or because I
It
also
has
just
to
use
do with your
Tracer.
ability to get out. So Tracer has a
Yeah.
greater ability to get out than Genji, and it's not strictly about how deep the angle is. It is, you know, of course, tied to your ability to get out. Deeper angles are more powerful, but can you get out from this? And my concern is, no, I don't think you can get out from this because, as we're going to see, hey, if Hog turns on you and you try to get out, well, there's still a Reinhardt right here, and that's a problem. They've also got a
Mhm.
Genji. You know, if you were a Tracer or a Sombra, getting out of this is going to be more easy. You as Genji, you don't have a good retreat that you're confident works. Your retreat is much shorter range than what a Tracer could do. So you can only be here if your team is in such a position that, like, if your team is here when you do this, then what ends up happening is if they dedicate a bunch of resources to chase you, if you try to dash to safety or try to dash back to your team or whatever the case may be, your team is getting value out of them chasing you. They can chase you for free right now, right?
Yeah.
So it's a timing positioning thing. Like, this positioning is good, but this positioning is good when your team is more threatening.
Mhm. Okay.
Whereas, like, when I was saying, hey, you can go back here, that would have been a much bigger angle, right? So, you know, temporal, why are you saying there that angle was fine? Well, the reason I was saying the angle was fine back then is because it was two people and your team was more engaged with the opponents. It was in such a situation where if these two actually spend all of their resources to chase you, you can get away, you have high ground, it's going to take them a while to chase you, and while they're chasing you, your team is getting a silly amount of value. Here they can chase you basically for free, which is what they do.
Okay.
Whereas, yes, the high ground makes chasing you harder, makes chasing you take longer, which makes it so your team can get more value. Okay. Sure. So here you are. You go for this. You did not get the nano just missed you? Oh, no, you
Yeah.
used this. Okay, got it. So you're just going to try to do this. You did do a good job of getting behind her. Did you track that she moved? It doesn't matter anymore, but no, you didn't get credit for that slash, I don't think. And now they're just in this, so you're just going, what do I do? Okay. I too love getting Zarya bubbles while I'm fighting one opponent that literally has no way to cancel their self-healing and inability to attack.
Huge bubbles. Lots of energy.
Good, peel the doom. to kind of, like, I get that you feel pressured right now. Okay. But you dash this way as opposed to like over here where you're immediately going to get to move again with wall climb. Like this is a little weird to me that you went here. I I guess you're thinking, hey, I don't want to just leave because my team is over here. Talk to me about this dash. What does this dash do for you?
Well, I probably assumed I was lower HP than I was.
Okay.
And I also definitely wasn't aware enough about where the cart was. So
Yep.
my thing is like, all right, I'm just gonna dash back to my team.
Right.
I got a pick here. You know, I could easily get back on high ground.
Got him.
Um,
Okay.
so
Okay. So
yeah.
you just didn't realize that your team was a little further forward.
Let's break it. Yeah. Horns and Crusaders.
Fine. Okay. Good. Is this where we want to be going? So like,
No.
okay. So like, if you think there's a stagger to be gotten because there's weak people, that's fine. There aren't actually any weak people to be gotten here. And if you're pushing into weak people just with maximum speed, like, I'm not going to say, oh, go spend a ton of time to establish an off angle when you're just picking up staggers with your team. But it's basically you and Lucio right now, and there aren't really any weak people for you to go get here. Okay, now you need to establish your off angle. And now it's going to be hard to establish your off angle. Okay. So where is your off angle right now? What can you do to get an off angle? Where can you play from?
Well, like you said, it could be far right.
Mhm.
I could play left.
Yep.
I could also play the high ground behind me.
Yep. At this point in time, your best options are probably, well, now that Soldier's there, is probably just to play over here. Earlier, when you were going
Okay.
in, if you decided that was enough staggers, you know, we can't really reasonably get more, you could have spent the time to go here. Now we're sort of, the fight has started or is about to start, even though we have people, the fight is about to start. Like, there's probably not really time to justify going and getting this off angle, even though it might be stronger, it might be more surprising. So this is probably where you're going to end up playing from.
Sounds good.
Mm. Mm-hmm.
I require healing.
Okay.
I require healing.
So let's think about how this fight is going.
Require healing.
Like, this is the Zarya really a valid target right now? Like, you're going to go after the Zarya because they're close, but if you're actually still trying to win this fight, if you've decided that this fight isn't lost yet, what do you need to do? You need to make an elimination happen, like, in the
Yeah.
next second or so, right? So it really can't be Zarya. Like, you could make an argument for I'm going to try to peel Doomfist. You could say, well, my team was pressuring Reinhardt, but Reinhardt's clearly nowhere in danger. The only real options are for you to go, I'm going support hunting. Like, if there was like a McCree or something, or a Soldier and Asher, you could go after those as well. But like in this situation, it's I'm gonna let the Zarya walk right by. I'm not interested in farming ult charge. I'm going to go, let me run deeper and let me try to trade out one or both of these guys. Because if we're going to stay in this fight that we've now gone down one end, this fight that we're being pushed back onto our heels on, it's gonna have to be I get more aggressive, I take a riskier play.
Yeah. So just to like, for me to like understand, like,
Yeah.
put in like a concept. So would you say that when we're down, say a 65 like we are right now, um, that is a valid time to try and make a play to get us back in the fight, rather than if it was 6v6, there's no point in going for the like for two supports at once because it's like a neutral and no team has the advantage yet. Is that kind of how?
I would say if you fall behind in a fight, how shall I say this? As if you fall behind in a fight, you play to take more risks. As you get ahead in a fight, you
Hmm.
play to take less risks. You play a more standard game. In the
Yeah.
neutral, you can justify risks. You could justify going, "Hey, that's an Ana Zen that I'm playing into. They're both scary, but they don't do the greatest job of peeling for each other. You know, there's no Mercy, there's no Lucio, there's no Brig. Maybe I put pressure on them." Like, remember, I was fine with you shooting at the Ana in previous places rather than the Zarya or the Reinhardt, because that puts more pressure on them and is more uncomfortable for their team. It builds you ult charge slower, but I was fine with those things. Here I'm saying actually go to try to potentially eliminate them, which, yes, that is scaling up the risk that we're talking about, but we're scaling up the risk because we've fallen a bit behind in the fight. If you chose to make that play when it was a 6v6, I wouldn't hate it, but it wouldn't be as justified. You follow what I'm saying? If you
Yeah.
chose to go
Yeah.
do
Yeah.
that when your team was winning in a 6v5, I'd be like, why are you pushing in and fighting these supports? If you're pressuring the
Yeah.
support, sure, but why are you like actively fighting these supports when your team is already winning the fight? Now you're just chancing a 1v2.
Yeah. So essentially, my mindset should be, okay, we're down. I have to make a play to get us back in this. Okay, we're up. There's no reason to force a mistake. We're just gonna play the numbers advantage. That should my
Yeah.
mindset be.
Yeah, that
Okay.
should sort of be the mindset, but careful about factoring ults into that equation, because I don't want
Okay.
you to go, I
Yeah.
have to make a play with ults when we're down, because it's like, nah, it's usually better to
Yeah.
hold unless...
Yeah. Well, not necessarily with ults, but I could risk, trying
Yes.
to go for an assassination on the Zen or something.
Yes. Looking to see what we do with this Nano Blade. This should be it. Let your team push in a little more. Yikes. Okay. I'm assuming that you were, telling your team to push in there, and it just wasn't happening.
Yeah. I was assuming them to peek the corner.
Yep.
Patched up. Yeah, time to heal up.
Okay. So you're imprinting on your targets. You know what you're going to do. I'm assuming you're going to start with the Reinhardt because he's right here, but if you go for the Zen, that's fine with me. Yep. You're immediately going to dash at the Zen. You get that. Fine.
So
Well,
lucky.
yeah, okay. So we got that. And again, we're sort of in this, like, here you are. You went for this. I feel like you don't really know where enough of your targets are, but that's okay. You still need to be going, hey, if I can only see 3 targets, I should have a pretty good idea that there's more targets tucked away to the left here, sort of behind the cover. So that still tells me what I need to know in terms of where I'm going to turn to after the Zen. And pretend that you got the Zen for real. There should be a look to the right here. And now we see, okay, this is an annoying situation. There's not really anything I can get. You're walking at it. Right, you don't have your dash because you didn't get the Zen. Okay, yeah, that was a little lucky at the end there. But hey. Overall, you drove that one correctly, so I don't have an objection.
Awesome. Yeah, that one I felt okay about.
Score 3.
Okay, let's see how these extra time rounds go. Looks like one of them might go pretty deep based on the time left on the match, but we'll see.
Ready for battle.
I'm gonna be surprised. You know the answer.
Yeah. He's keeping it. No spoilers.
There we go. There we go. Okay, let's see if we handle this a little better in terms of not forcing our own dash.
1. Attackers incoming. Defend objective.
Didn't hit shots, but are we going to get out reasonably? You have to use deflect there, that's fine. No, you're going to have to use dash. Yeah. but your team's in a place where it's a little less dangerous. You're gonna play top right? No, you're gonna play bottom right. Oh boy. That's not the first time that's happened to you this match. And, you know, there's some level of that where that just happens to Genjis. Oh no, you threw another Shuriken here. Okay, so like this just becomes a you'll get better at it, but you do actively have to be trying to track their health better. So this makes sense. This round of Shurikens makes sense. Does another round of Shurikens make sense here?
Not if I'm gonna dash now.
Right. Exactly. So you either just throw shurikens or you go, nope, I'm going for the dash. And the thing about this dash is, even if this dash weren't to immediately get the elimination, you then just get to climb up over this, and you're going to get the elimination just, you know, your Rhine is clearly going to get the elimination right after you do. So this dash is very safe right now, and we can't throw those if we're going to dash. Because now you tried. Oh, well. Should have been safe. I don't also like that you turned here. Like, you hit your dash, and then I'm not at all sure that's a micro thing, but you go here.
Cutting through silk.
Maybe your thought was I'm doing this because I need to put my deflect up? Yeah, that's got to
Yeah.
have been your thought. There's a Zarya in your face. Okay. But again, that's sort of our dash should have been higher in the first place, right? Because we'd have still gotten credit on the Reinhardt, and we'd have been less where shots are automatically aimed. Shots are automatically going to sort of be aimed at our teammates. We'd have sort of liked to dash above the Reinhardt, hit him with the bottom of our hitbox, because it'll get us over this wall faster, which is going to be our ultimate out, if that makes sense.
Yeah, like those shots weren't even meant for me, honestly.
Exactly.
Like I just put myself in a bad spot.
Yep. We do some roof surfing. Who says that's the territory of echoes and pharaohs? Good. We're doing this. Good. Yeah, just do that. There's your mini little play of the game right there.
60 seconds.
No, you can't push up far enough for this.
I think I'm feeling pressure to build my blade.
Mm-hmm. But the problem is, if you feel too much pressure to build your blade and you take silly risks, what ends up happening is you get a little more blade charge in exchange for your cooldowns getting forced, and then your cooldowns getting forced means you can't sustain during the times that would have been easy, significant blade build pressure. So you know, just want to mentally be aware of, wait, why am I feeling this stress?
True.
Which is exactly what happened here, by the way. Like, you're back with
Yeah.
your team, and I hate it. You should be up here, in here, whatever, you know, over here. But like, I hate that you're with your team right now. Mm-hmm.
30 seconds remaining.
Tactical visor active.
Objective 10 seconds remaining.
Victory is
Stop
near.
the payload.
Good. We're playing our off angle a bit more.
Overtime.
You just like didn't even register that you lost health there.
Overtime.
Like, you lost health. I mean, it's just like one step back here to press X and be like, "Hey, Anna, heal me," right? Like this was just a mistake on your part to stay in. It's not like you had to maintain this level of aggression when it doesn't cost you anything to get back up here with wall climb. You just drop down, get healed, all that jazz.
It's
Okay.
I was so sad after that.
Yeah, but like, if we look at that from a grand scheme of things, I don't think there's much to actually be annoyed about. Like, it's annoyed thing that it went wrong, but here you are, you do this, you did the dash. The only question, I mean, it's fine. The only question really becomes, did we want to dash that direction or a different direction to limit our dash distance a bit more? We then, of course, go for this. They're purple, they're beaded, and you're right to just slash away here like mad. And the only issue becomes you are in potentially the same direction as your team, but your team is high ground, so this should just be a U-shatter. Oh, it should have just been a U-shatter. Lucio's there too. I'm not too worried about that. You don't need to worry about where Lucio is when you're thinking about your angle. If more people had gone shattered behind you, that would have been a mistake, but this is fine. You gonna go left? You gonna go left? No. Okay. So we're seeing some, we're still seeing a little too much with the team, a little less maintaining of the off angles than I'd like. It's not like you're wildly wrong on it, but it's something that definitely still has some room to scale up for more value.
Ready for battle.
Yeah.
Please remember, there is a limit of 1 battle pet per guest at any time.
Ready for battle. Ready for battle. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Attackers incoming. Defend objective A.
I require healing.
Go right side. Good. You're gonna make this deeper. Back in. Yeah, I understand. I like that a little less, but okay.
I require healing.
I don't necessarily like hanging yourself in the air like this. Like, no one's paying attention to you. Do you really need the better angle from the air here?
Not necessarily, no.
Yeah, so like you are already missing health and you're now hanging yourself you're hanging yourself in the air where your reaction times are going to be slower to protect yourself. You can't use cover as quickly if they, no one's looking at
I
you.
require healing.
Now you're going to go for this. Again, don't really like this. Maybe you're trying to get the heal from Deanna, but I think she could have healed you from the other place just fine. Okay. Okay, Lucio, but we don't have enough people for that. Okay. Let's talk about right clicks. Let's slow this down.
Come on. Easy.
Okay. You had some accuracy problems there. Like you threw 4 right clicks, you totally missed 2 of them. You got a single with one of them, and you got a double with one of them. Where you're gonna miss some shots, that's fine, but most of these should be doubles. Most of at the range that you're playing against this Anna, most of these should be double hits. Yes, she has a bit of a janky hitbox for her head hitbox, but you're aiming at her shoulders effectively to try to hit doubles.
The objective is mine.
wasn't really sure if they had it or not.
Yeah, I understand. You're trying to lock it away, put it away, and it's probably, I'm not going to say it's right, but it's reasonable because you also saw that the Nana was used. So you're A, re-mirroring yourself to your Ana, and you're B, going, hey, I'm not sure we've put this away, and the time bank is in such a place that we're probably going to win if we get the point now, whereas if we have to make more pushes on it, we're going to be in trouble. And I mean for the victory of the map, not for the point. Like, you'll probably get the point if you have to make more pushes on it, but... Wait, no. Okay. And you see why I'm objecting here, right? Like, here we are.
Low HP.
Yeah, you've got no HP, and you're playing like you've still got 200 HP. You do need to get a little more passive as your HP gets lower, unless people, like, literally aren't paying attention to you.
Objective A captured. 60 seconds remaining.
Rendezvous at my position.
Good. Okay. Was this the dash you wanted?
No, I mean, I was going for the Yana, but once I got booped in the air, I was like, I don't know what to do.
Yeah, no, that's not what I'm referring to. So here we
Okay.
go. Yeah, the boop happened, and that's fine. And you're trying to make the best of the situation. Was this the dash you wanted, or
No.
was this the dash you wanted? To just go, nope, I'm going to play from here again. They can't really push you if you're
Yeah.
up here, right? So it's like, and again, this is an extreme angle, we could argue, but it's not really dangerous because they can't pay attention to you. Like, if they actually want to pay attention to you over here, your team gets to punish them for that. Like, they
Yeah.
okay.
So it's like I want to be pressuring the same space as my team, but just from a different angle.
Yes.
Okay.
I require healing.
Mm-hmm.
30 seconds remaining.
Mm-hmm.
I need healing.
Not that time.
Yeah. Okay. I mean, again, there's some health sensitivity stuff that you could be doing here in terms of adjusting your positioning to be a little more secure as you're going behind
I
there.
will not waste this chance.
Yeah. That's the part I was referring to where I just absolutely messed up and threw at the end.
Yep. Not a big deal.
Let's push the
It's gonna cost you some SR, but we can fix it. Oh boy. Oh boy. Yeah, this was probably winnable. I mean, more pressure from over here, more pressure from up here, the dash back over to here. This, you could have kept higher pressure on this team. It wasn't automatic because your team was getting roughed up on the front line reasonably hard. You'd have made them be getting roughed up less hard, but they still may have been overrun, and you'd have gotten more damage, but, that happens.
Yeah.
Okay, so if I look at this, the biggest things that jump out at me, I could really do three things. The first thing is, and again, compared to, obviously this is something that everyone can work on, but there's a sliding scale on this for the level that you're playing at, and I would like to see better off-angle play, but specifically I want to see that off-angle play in situations like this where it helps your team. In situations where, you can be behind them, where they're here, and your team is actually threatening, actually engaging. And less in this situation, but I also want to see less, let me just dash back to my team and hang with my team here when I could very easily be over here, when I could very easily be up here doing work. Like, I want more of this off-angle stuff, and I want less of the I'm in danger at the wrong time type stuff. So off-angle, we can still turn that up another 20% or so, but we do want to understand our timing to it. Does that part make sense so far?
100%, yeah.
Okay. The next thing that we're going to talk about is definitely going to be your blades. You had, some okay ones there, but when it comes to your blades, as you're pulling out your blade, you need to sort of look around and go, where are my targets? I am making a mental snapshot of where everyone is. And I will update my mental snapshot with new stimuli that I get as my blade goes on. But I am making a mental snapshot so that I go in here and I slash, and I immediately know not just where one target that I could go to is, but where multiple valid targets that I could go to are. So I can go slash, turn, and then dash again. Or maybe it's a case of slash turn. Oh shoot, that target got away, but I know where the next one is. Yes, it's moved a little, but that's a faster adjustment type thing. So I want better mental snapshots, and then it is I'm going to aim, and I'm going to aim to control my dash. If I aim above them and go too far, that's a problem. Sometimes I'm going to aim below them so that I actually dash into their feet to intentionally stop short, because I'll still get dash damage on them, and then I'll get my slash, and I don't want to dash so far through them that, I'm in trouble. I'm not positioned well to get to the next one with a dash distance. So like it's going to be controlling your dash distance a bit mechanically. Sometimes that means aiming below, at their feet. Sometimes that means aiming, well, in other places we talked about aiming at the Reinhardt's head, but that's a different thing. So it's going to be imprint the images and then control your dash distance potentially by aiming above or below them. And then the third thing, if we were to work on something else, would be a little bit more awareness of your own health and a little bit more shifting of position of like, hey, I'm here. And rather than just continuing to do this when I'm down to a third health, a very easy adjustment for me to go, yes, now Anna will heal me. Oh, I'm doing work here. Now I've taken a little chip damage that I don't like. Very easy adjustment. Maybe I keep contributing, but now there's more cover and my Anna can still see me just as easily. So a little bit more awareness of your health, where your supports are, that kind of thing, if I were to pick a third thing. But I would consider that probably the least important of the three for now.
Okay.
So I think we've given you a nice little list to work on here. Remember, I want you to work through those one at a time. I don't want you trying to focus on everything at once, because that's not how the word focus works. And while you're playing 5, 15, something in that range percent of your brain while you're doing it, if you get a little worse to start, that's fine. You're familiar with the process at this point. So do you have any questions? Anything else that you'd like to cover in the last couple minutes here?
No, I think you cover a lot of the things I really wanted to
Ready for
do or to go over. Like I feel like I have a good understanding of these things. It's just different to actually act on them, if that makes sense. Like
Oh, absolutely. It's hard.
yeah,
No, it's
yeah,
hard. And some of this stuff, like taking off angles, I could tell that to you as a silver Genji, or I could tell that to you as a master's Genji, and it's going to be true for
mhm,
both. But the degree to which it's necessary to fine tune it, and we can say the same thing with engagement timings. We could say the same thing with aggression control. Like these are things that just scale, and we just have to bring it tighter and tighter. And I just
yeah,
want to make sure you can continue to see the gradients that we're talking about. And I think you can, but it is going to take some practice and some being mentally aware of it, like actively thinking about it at the time, right?
100%.
Okay.
Um, do you have any suggestions on how to um remember to take off angles? Like I've heard people put like sticky notes on their monitor or something like that. Like, is there any?
You can do sticky notes if you want. For off angles specifically, we could be thinking in hey, every time you are between fights, like literally every time you are between fights, going, where am I going to take this next fight from? If we retreat, where's my new off angle? You could do something like that where you're thinking about it every time that you are between a fight. But honestly, it's a big part of the reason why I recommend only focusing on one thing at a time, because if you're focusing
Yeah,
on one thing at a time, it can really just be, this is kind of top of mind as one of the very limited things I'm thinking about. Like I'm thinking about playing the game, but because I'm actively thinking about this while playing the game, I don't necessarily need a sticky note. I'm not such a fan of sticky notes, because
yeah,
sticky notes tend to be like I look at this between rounds, and they're also something that you can get desensitized to pretty quickly.
yeah, true. Okay, and then lastly, would you recommend me work on the blades or the off angles first?
The off angles first. The off angles will give you
Okay,
more
yeah,
bang for your buck. Yep.
that's what I was thinking too. Okay, awesome,
Cool.
awesome, dude. Thank
Cool.
you so much.
No problem. Look forward to seeing you again soon and hearing about the improvement.
Yeah,
Good luck, man.
yeah, awesome. Thank you so much.
Thank you.